All right, I wanted to go over this. This is super important. Probably not, in the eyes of most people, as important as the cops going to the wrong house and shooting an innocent man, but the mentality that underpins the shooting of a man at the wrong house, an innocent man, is kind of the thread line that holds all of this together. You're going to see this cop's mentality as this false arrest unfolds and this settlement story kind of materializes before your eyes. But I want to talk about this because there is a prevailing mentality in the law enforcement arena, in the law enforcement community, where they do feel like they have more rights than you and I. I mean, they really believe this at the core of their being. When they put on that uniform, when they have that badge, when they have that utility belt, and they're especially in that cruiser or around a bunch of their fellow Blue Line thugs, they actually believe that they are human beings above other human beings. And they prove that by their actions. Let's just go ahead and go through this, and I'm going to stop and make some commentary. But the reason I do that is because I think it's very, very important that we get a crystal clear picture of what exactly is going on here. Because that thin blue line, that means something. It's a division. It's their division. A division between us and them.
A 5-year fight to clear his name is now over for a Michigan man. He was visiting the Space Coast when he was pulled over for DUI.
So here's the problem. He was not drunk. News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval, it's that simple, has been tracking the developments in this story. So Eric, what has happened?
Well, 5 frickin' years. It takes 5 years to get a semblance of justice, and in that 5-year time frame, any number of things could have happened because of that arrest. You could have lost your job. The community members are believing your word, or the word of law enforcement over your word. Therefore, you're automatically guilty. Oh my God, the police did what? He was driving under the influence and he was putting other people in jeopardy. Your reputation. There are some of that stuff you can't get back. Even if you win a settlement, you'll never be seen the same in the eyes of, pretty much anybody, especially if they're a thin blue line bootlicker.
Now, John Schoonmaker is his name. He is this man right here in this dash camera video. We found out that his lawsuit against the Brevard County Sheriff's Office has been settled out of court. This man is getting money. He's also getting an apology. He is also returning to Central Florida to talk to the man who trains Brevard County's deputies.
Oh, he gets to talk to a liar, in other words. He gets to talk to a liar who trains other liars how to go out into the community and lie.
I'm going to have you do a few exercises to see whether or not you're okay to drive tonight, okay?
Okay.
January 2018 dash camera video shows a Brevard County Sheriff's deputy conduct a field sobriety test on John Schoonmaker, who was visiting the Space Coast with his wife. He claimed he doesn't drink, and he wasn't drunk.
Are you taking any medication right now?
I am on a Z-Pack.
Schoonmaker completed 3 field sobriety exercises that the deputy claims he failed.
Most people just at their heart are just good people. And they'll try to comply with the officers because they feel like, hey, you know what? The officer's going to see that I'm a good guy. The officer's going to see that I haven't done anything wrong. The officer is going to see that I'm honest with him, that I have nothing to hide. And the more you talk, the more they build a case against you. And in this case right here, this is another case where there's no good cops because his fellow officer who's with him, I don't want to do a spoiler alert, but I guess I will. The fellow officer with him is going to say, hey, he was on this Z-Pack. Probably not a good idea that you arrested him, but it's too late. And then they're willing to make this pact and to write up the report, which is going to be a false report based on what his fellow cop said. It's going to be a false report that these people have to know that they are potentially ruining somebody's life, ruining somebody's reputation. This person could lose their job. They could lose their family could disown them. The people in their community could just excommunicate him.
At this point, I have no choice but to place you under arrest for DUI.
I have no choice.
Schoonmaker was arrested for driving under the influence, but not before the dash cam picked up this.
I'm thinking it's a C-Pack.
I was going to say you should just let her drive and let him go, but it's too late now.
Nope.
You should have just let him go, but it's too late now. Why? Why is it too late? Because you got your actions recorded and you can't apologize and you can't go, hey, we made a mistake. It was just Z-Pack. You can't sit there and go, you know what? Dang, you're right. The ramifications, the future ramifications that could befall this guy, all the negatives that could come into this guy's life because I'm writing something down on a piece of paper is immense. You're absolutely right. We cannot mess with this guy's freedoms. That's not what they do. They're supposed to be protectors and champions and guardians of our freedom. And then they do the opposite, like this right here. So if he got the counsel of his fellow Thin Blue Line gang member to, hey, maybe we should have let it go. It's too late now. And he's going to write the report anyway, knowing this piece of evidence, knowing this piece of information and the exhortation that he got from his fellow cop, he wrote down a false report and he doesn't care. It's the same mentality that underlines this right here. Remember Robert Dotson? Robert Dotson was killed after police in Farmington, New Mexico said he opened the door late April 5th with a handgun, and rightly so, because he didn't know who was at the door because they were pointing their flashlights and he was blinded. Besides that, they were supposed to go to the house. It was a domestic disturbance across the street. And before Mr. Dotson opened the door, they had come to realize, oh yeah, maybe we are at the wrong house, because they read out the right address. They asked the emergency services number to verify the address. They could read the address on the side of Dotson's house, and they went ahead and shot him anyway. Instead of backing off and going, hey, we need to back away from this guy's door because if he comes out, he may come out with a gun, and he's perfectly within his rights to do that. But that's the same mentality of right here. They got these guys right here in Farmington, New Mexico, got the same kind of information that this guy just did from his fellow Thin Blue Line gang member saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't have done that because this is Z-Pack and he's not on some kind of weird drug or under the influence of alcohol. And yet they proceed anyway, to the harm, to the detriment of the people in the community.
Schoonmaker's negative lab results forced prosecutors to drop the charges, and it prompted him to sue for false arrest. News 6 found out he settled out of court with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office last month.
I think justice is in the process of being served.
Schoonmaker and his attorney say under the terms of this settlement, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office will pay him $45,000.
Not enough. Not enough. How much time did it cost him? How much litigation? How much in lawyers' fees? I mean, how much grief? How much decimation of your reputation?
Issue a letter of apology to Schoonmaker from the sheriff's command staff. He is also going to get an in-person meeting with Under Sheriff Douglas Waller, who's responsible for training deputies.
Why? So you can sit across the desk from a liar who's trained to lie to you, to blow smoke up your dairy air and tell you what you want to hear, covering for his department the entire way?
What would you like to see changed?
Maybe there needs to be some sensitivity training around, everybody has a story. And so when you pull somebody over, you have to begin to understand their story before you start arresting.
Maybe we need to eradicate policing for profit and prisons for profit. How about we start there? I guarantee you, if you take out the incentive to pull somebody over for any reason because of traffic laws, they'll stop pulling you over because they get recommendations when they pull you over. They get bonuses when they pull you over. They have quotas and get commendations for pulling you over. Oh, you got a tail light out. Oh, that license plate light is not illuminating like it should. Hey, are your brights on? I think it's stuck on. We need to give you a ticket. Are your windows too dark? You failed to put your turn signal on, sir. Is that weed I'm smelling? You take out the incentive for those cops to get accolades from their department heads, and you take out profit from all that, and you're going to see all this. It's like, oh my gosh, I thought they cared about safety. No, they don't care about safety. If you take out the profit motive, they're not going to care how fast you go. They go that fast. They don't care about the safety of the roads. They just care how they're going to look to their department heads at the end of the year when they've either reached or failed to reach their quota.
News 6 investigated, and we found out this settlement with the Brevard County Sheriff's Office comes as law enforcement agencies across the country are settling similar lawsuits. Here in Florida, since 2010, the Orlando Police Department has paid $100,000 to settle claims of.
Now, when they put these numbers on the screen, just keep in mind, this is only the ones they know about. These are only the people who went through with the lawsuit and went through with the settlement. How many more people fell through the cracks or weren't interested in doing it, or they just didn't have the documentation to support their claim, or the lawyer's fees were just too much? These are very, very low numbers. I would say we don't even see 1, 2, 3% max of everything that's going on. All the indiscretions, all the trampling of rights.
False arrest. Fort Lauderdale's police department has paid out more than $230,000.
Got to be way more than that. Way more than that. I mean, if these settlements went, through to fruition.
And Miami's police force has paid nearly $900,000 in settlements.
I think the settlement allows us to maybe move forward rather than just push this under the rug.
Schoonmaker will be meeting with that undersheriff sometime over the next 60 days. And when we first reported what happened to Schoonmaker last year, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office told us that they don't comment on pending lawsuits. So I reached back out to them to see what they had to say now that this has been settled, and we are still waiting for them to respond.
I mean, this had a resolution to it, but he could have lost his job.
Absolutely. He is a substance abuse and trauma counselor.
So that's why he's fighting this so
Absolutely.
hard, too,
He was having clients come and ask him, well, what about this arrest? What happened with this arrest? And he said, no, I'm innocent. I'll show you. Wow. Which is why he agreed to speak with us as well.
If you have to test somebody 3 times, maybe something's going on here. All right, Eric Sandoval, thank you.
But most people, because they're bootlickers and they back the thin blue line, will not believe you. They'll believe the police officer. They'll believe the boys in blue, because they wouldn't lie to us, would they? As long as there are profits in war, and that's what we've got through the traffic code, through traffic violations and all this nonsense, DUI checkpoints, that's what we have. We have a war. The Thin Blue Line gang is at war with people they're claiming to protect and serve. And as long as there are profits in war, there will be little incentive for peace. If you enjoy these videos, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know. Don't forget to subscribe to my email list through my website, highimpactflix.com. If you want to support the channel, the links are in the description below, and I will see you in the next video.